So, lots of people give driving advice, and I have a story to share about how to arrange where your car should and shouldn't break down. So last night I was moving my stuff from one apartment to the other, take the car, drive up the hill, move over to my apartment, park it, bring some stuff in, bring some stuff out, nothing really happens, nothing too exciting. Except when I start the car this time around and move it back down into drive, hit the accelerator as everybody normally does. It goes up to 5 on the tach and around up to 5 miles per hour on the speedometer. That, in case you don't drive very often, is not supposed to happen. Of course, being a fool, as opposed to stopping the car and calling the tow truck while I was level, I decided, you know what, let's move the stuff from my old apartment to my new apartment. So I go down the hill, go to my new apartment, stop, get the stuff out, get the stuff in, sputtering along, but so far so good. It's now 11:45 at night, and naturally, as opposed to just saying, you know what, okay, let's stop, I decided, let's try to get to the parking lot, have it stay over there for the night, and then deal with the issue in the morning, because as we know, the best way to deal with the problem is to avoid it and deal with it the next morning. The small detail that I left out is that the parking lot in the Heights is up a hill, and when you can only go 5 miles per hour, and apparently at this point I recognize that there is oil leaking from the car, which also, by the way, is a bad sign. You probably shouldn't drive where there's oil leaking from the car. So I start to slowly make my way over across the Heights, back up the hill, and I'm slowly going up the hill. If I say slowly, we're talking like 2 miles per hour slowly, but I thought I'd actually make it. And you know how they have those signs right when you get to the parking lot that says like entrance and park, and you're turning in up the hill, and right where it says park, I parked because my car stopped. And unfortunately, the Staples lot has a policy which makes a lot of sense, although it was not very helpful to me at the time, which is that they don't accept cars that are pushed in to the lot. So right now my car is stopped in the middle of a hill, blocking traffic in front of the parking lot. Naturally, I try to go into reverse and see what happens, but because at this point I can't go anywhere, nothing happens. So I decide, you know what, I clearly have to call a tow truck. So first of all, if you didn't already get that part of the lesson, if you're going to break down, don't break down in the middle of the hill. But because this is a two-part story, you get a second lesson. The tow truck comes, of course, because it's in the middle of the hill. The tow truck can't drive up the hill because I'm blocking it, and the tow truck, in his eminent wisdom, decided that he didn't want to back down the hill to try to get a car out that is parked in an angle. So he says, you know what, I have this brilliant idea. Why don't you just go into reverse, or really go into neutral, take your feet off the brakes, roll down the hill into the intersection, and then while we're there, I'll just tow you across, which, incidentally enough, would be a good plan if, well, you didn't screw it up, which I, of course, did, because the tow driver was very confident in his own driving abilities. I, on the other hand, never liked going in reverse. I'm never comfortable going in reverse, let alone downhill when I can't actually accelerate. So as opposed to just going into neutral and rolling down the hill, I braked my way down the hill lest I roll into the middle of the intersection. Of course, that kept me safe and stopped me from rolling into the middle of the intersection. On the other hand, it left me in the middle of the sidewalk, and the car still couldn't really tow me out until he, incidentally enough, turned and blocked off the intersection at a diagonal so he can then hook me up to where I was on the sidewalk and pull me out and drive me to safety. So if I can offer you 2 lessons, one would be, if you're going to break down in your car, break down on a level area where somebody can tow you out. And second is, when the person does come to tow you out, listen to him and don't be an idiot. Thank you very much. Have a good night.